Let me wholeheartedly welcome you all for this continuations of the data analytics. Let me introduce about myself. My name is Mr. Jasmine Anthony Raj, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Applications, Dr. SMS Rajalakshmi, College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. With the continuations of the last sessions, today we are going to see about a data analytic processes. So how can we able to define a data analytic process? So first one, so data science process flowchart from doing data science by an Scotch and Cornell in the year of 2013. So he is the person who has implemented the process of what is meant by how we can able to define the data analyst process. So here, so analysis refers to dividing a whole into a separate. So analysis, suppose if we have a tedious of an information, it's a very large process. So all at once, if we are looking for a very large process, it will be very tedious for us. So instead of looking at very large tedious process, if we divide it into a separate work, it will be very easy. So it can be divided into a separate components for individual examinations. So suppose if you have a 100 pages of books, so if you want to analyze 100 pages of books all at one time, so it will be a very tedious process. So instead of having an all together at a time as 100 pages of books, suppose if we are dividing into an individual pages, individual tasks. So for a task we can able to have a 10 pages, it will be easy. So that is called as an analysis, right? So next point, so data analysis is a process for obtaining a raw data and subsequently converting it into an information useful for decision making by users. So here we can able to have a process of obtaining a raw data. So what is the use of an data analysis means? So we need to get a process of raw data. So suppose if you are extracting a data or collecting a data, so we can able to call that as an raw data only. So as well as if you are collecting all at once a data, so we cannot able to define that as an extremely finest data or an entirely corrected data. So the final stage of collecting data is called as a raw data. So by the collecting time itself, we cannot able to define as a that is an finest data, right? So it is called as a raw data, and subsequently converting it into an informations useful for decision making by users. So here, after converting those informations into how we can able to make the decisions by the collecting and raw data, which is converted to an finest data. So that is the concept of that is a concept we can able to define in a second point. So next one, so data is collected and analyzed to answer question, test hypothesis or disprove theories, right? So here next point, it is used to collect it. First basics is collecting the data. So that is a basic and primary work. After collecting the data, we are analyzing the answer to the questions. So what is the question asked? So what is the data we are collected, and by the collections of data, how can we able to give answers for those questions? Next one, how to test a hypothesis question. How can we able to give a clarity about an hypothesis question, so whether it is a finest answer. So these are all the things where we can able to do in a data analysis, and to disprove theories. So here if we have defined theories, so how can we able to disprove those theories? So it is all comes under an analysis, data analysis. Next one, we can able to go with the next statistician John Take defined data analysis in the year 1961. So as procedures for analyzing data, techniques for interpreting the results of such procedures, ways of planning the gathering of data to make it analysis easier, more precise or more accurate, and all the machinery and result of mathematical statistics which can be able to apply for analyzing the data. So it means that we are having a how we can able to analyze the data, what is the procedures to analyze the data, and what are the techniques we need to predict for such procedures, what is the procedures we need to take, what are the steps we need to take, and how are the ways to plan for a particular data, and how can we able to collect the data, and how we can able to, by doing all this process, it can be able to, how it can be able to come to a analysis is a process. Next one, more precisely or more accurately, all the machineries will and the results of a mathematical statistics will apply to analyzing the data. Thank you, one and all.